Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. Get yourselves comfy and maybe grab yourself a little comfort pillow because we are going to be exploring Not How Women Work. This one has been kind of fun in the past. I always end up learning something from these videos, truly. And I really think this falls into my favorite bucket of storytelling and learning from the stories of others because it's fun and it's still a little bit spicy. We can throw a tiny little bit of shade, but yay, learning. All right, should we go for it? Should we just go deep dive? Let's do it. A simple? That sound. What is that? I swear that's a start off of some form of application. Please let me know, it's going to drive me bananas. All right, that's not what this video is. A simple, beautiful life. Sun, strawberries, leaves, show me the beautiful life. Ah, cute. I was made to read books, wear pretty dresses, spend time in nature, and fall wildly in love. Less cute. You know, there are many reasons why people want kids. I don't think I've ever heard of parents go, yes, let's make a child to read books, wear pretty dresses, and spend time in nature. Those are added bonuses, not primary motives. I wish that's what we were made to do. If you speak to the government, we're made to work until the day we die and pay tax. This sounds like a much better plan. Also, shout out to this very glorious hair, but I have to point out that nobody would be gardening with a hair down like that, wearing such gorgeous clothes. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to be out there in my sweats, in my little vest top that's probably already stained from grass. Is that the only thing that makes things green? You know when you get that like little thing that's like green on your clothes and you're like, oh, and it just never comes off? That's your new gardening outfit, babe. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. What's this said context? Strawberries do not grow on trees. You know... I didn't even notice that she was picking strawberries from a tree. This is the problem with AI. And everyone now is just like, oh, yeah, you can totally tell when something's made from AI. And I'm like, AI photo. And I'll be like, Jamie, what's wrong with it? And he's like, Shaaba, they have 5 hands. And I'm like, oh, yeah. We're learning. We're growing. The strawberries do not grow on trees. That's not how strawberries work. This isn't how women work. Who'd have known? It's very obvious that a man wrote this. I would hazard a guess that not only was it a man, but a man who is straight and single with a very warped idea of what a relationship entails, probably formed by the values of the 1960s and adult content. Yeah. This sound will never get old. So here I am, casually taking the piss out of TikTok trad wife content, as one does. And my friend goes, Madeline, you're barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen, making your own homemade mustard from your great-grandmother's recipe. So if you need me, I've been unalived. Look, get yourself a goyle who can do both. This is the message, isn't it? Live your trad wife days. Wait, hold on. Don't clip that out of context. Live your trad wife days when you want to have those trad wife days, but don't be limited to thinking that's the only thing you're good for, and only do it if that is what you are wanting to do. Actually, which I guess is like not the value of trad wife. I think I just got that very wrong. I didn't mean in mentality, I meant like with the actions. Go live your barefoot pregnant life, plie-ing to go grab your homegrown sweet peas and stick them in a vase. Like you do that if that's what you want to do. If someone's telling you that that's what you need to do, and not just because you know the grass is too long and it totally needs a mow, but because, oh, you're a woman, and as a woman, it is your job not to garden. Where is my brain today? It is your job to be in the kitchen, to be making that homemade mustard. I actually have some friends who are so organised, it sickens me. We met them for lunch, and if you're meeting someone for lunch on a weekend, what do? Nothing beforehand, right? You wake up, and you get ready, and you go. That is the plan, at least in shaabaandjamie land. But these guys were just like, yeah, we actually got up, we decided to try making our own homemade Nutella. They homemade hazelnut spread for their breakfast. They ate breakfast, adulting, and then they went for like a 2-mile walk, and then they came to see us, and I was like, oh, I slept. So I too am inspired by you. This can be how women work. Let that be the message. And Madeline's gone on to give us the recipe. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for living your best autonomous trad wife life. Lol, there is a popular stupid TikTok going on now, would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear? There are so many stupid TikToks. I was like, oh yeah, tell me the latest stupid trad wife thing that's being said. But no, this is just someone being stupid. Women say that the bear is safest 99% of the time. LMAO can't believe that they are allowed to vote. Ha ha ha. Note, OP has liked their own post because nobody else supports what they are saying. How to miss a point and prove it too? Have we heard about the bear thing? I feel like everybody who has allegedly scrolled social media this year has come across the man or bear thing. And I have to admit, when I first saw it too, I was just like, what is this? I'm very confused. But, and this is why social media is a double-edged sword, and a great learning moment. See, I learned from this too. It's a really important thought exercise. For those of you who might not have heard it, this is like non-shady, just like neutral ground. It's a hypothetical question, right? Like when great philosophers pose to us that if there were 3 men stranded on a boat in the middle of the sea and you're all starving, would 2 of you eat 1 of you to keep the other 2 alive? We're not actually doing that. Nobody's actually suggesting putting 2 women in 2 forests, one with a man and one with a bear. However, if that was to happen, oh my god, that's totally going to be a movie now, isn't it? That is absolutely going to be a movie. I'm already disappointed. I'm disappointed in the script that is currently forming and the funding that is being secured for this terrible project. The step of this thought exercise is not to compare what would happen if a man and a bear went like head to head, or if a woman was fighting a bear versus if a woman was fighting a man. That is not the point of this conversation. Of course, bears are huge. You cannot reason with a bear. They have big teeth and big claws. I get it that a man is not a bear. And in that context, where you're talking about somebody, whatever the gender, fighting another human being versus fighting a bear, like with your fists, of course, the bear is going to be very dangerous, right? The real thought exercise, which some people, mostly men, don't understand, which is what leads to tweets like this. The reality is, if a woman was in a forest and knew that there was a bear out there, she'd be pretty safe. As long as that bear wasn't in the vicinity and fighting her, a bear isn't intentionally going after a woman. The bear is not going to try and manipulate or force or intentionally cause harm because the woman is a woman. And right there, that there is the golden nugget of why this conversation is important. The second that we realize, wow, women need protection because men do these things, and if a bear knew that a woman was in the forest, their thoughts would not be things that would make women feel very unsafe. We need to question why a woman alone anywhere would fear a man. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that was quite waffly, but I really do believe that if these kinds of men leave in these kinds of tweets, who then used such thought exercises and the quarter of a brain cell that magically seems to keep them functioning, to then say, ironically, that women shouldn't be allowed to vote, a quick online search will show so many conversations about this, highlighting those really important conversations, ultimately leading to, we need to do better with gender disparity. We need to make sure that men overall are not harming women so much. That's it. That's the tweet. That's the bear. Not this. Get in the bin. These guys are taking it way too personally. It's because it tells on themselves about not being a safe person for women. Real talk, I think it can be really difficult as well when people who are normally from majority groups, oppressor groups, often, right, are not that way themselves. That's why we fall into the territory of like, oh, well, not all men do this. Oh, well, I wouldn't harm a woman in a forest. That's amazing, babe. That's great. Use your values and use your power then within your group to tell the millions of men that would, to tell the millions of men that do, and then we'll talk. You know, as a straight white man who spent a lot of time around other straight white men, I would also choose the bear. See, this is how we have conversation. A bear wouldn't want to take away my human rights for thinking that he's dangerous. They keep deliberately getting it wrong, babe. I'm not sure if it's deliberate. That quarter of a brain cell is working hard. It's working so hard. As I understand it, the original question was, you're hiking alone in the forest. Would you rather come around the bend on a trail and spot a random man standing there or a random bear standing there? It's nothing about being stuck. This is my point. It's nothing about having fisticuffs with a bear. It's about highlighting how afraid women are when a man can acknowledge them as being an alone person, somewhere new and somewhere without support. I would rather spot that. No one would rather spot a stranger man. That's like the plot line of 90% of horror movies. You can still do what you normally do when you spot a bear, which is back away slowly and go the other way, and it'll probably leave you alone. But it's harder to predict that with a random man who would do that in a situation generally, which is why so many pick the bear. Exactly that. People actually come across bears quite often in certain climates, and there's a known thing that you would do. If you saw a bear as you were in a forest going on a hike, you turn a corner, oh, bear, what do? You back away real slow. You just walk away. You take a different path. You don't make any sudden movements, and the bear is very likely to leave you alone. But if I'm walking in a forest, a woman, alone, and I turn the corner, I see a strange man, like a stranger, not a strange man, just a stranger who is a man, who may also be strange. Even if I back away slowly, even if I attempt to not engage with said man, it's not as easy to predict whether that man, like the bear would leave me alone. You don't know what a random man, not you, a specific man who's feeling offended by these conversations, but a random man. And the sad reality of that, which is why these conversations are so important, is that there's a really high percentage that man would not leave said woman alone. That's the point. It's not about having fisticuffs with a bear. All right, let's move on. My wife hearing me tell a joke. She seems very unimpressed. I don't know, my husband tells jokes all the time and they make me giggle so much. My wife hearing that same joke from another guy. Ah ha ha! His wife hearing that same joke when he tells it. Also not impressed. Look, if this is your relationship, I feel sorry for you. If any partner is specifically not laughing because of who is telling the joke, when the joke is actually funny and they're laughing at someone else, they are either one, really trying to make a good impression with the other person, which, you know, or two, are holding resentment so hard to you. That is what you need to be worrying about, not the joke. There is a reason for this, says someone. Oh no. Wives do this as the thing that they found attractive while stating their husband is now a threat, as they worry other women will find it attractive. So they try to stamp out their husband's sense of humor by rolling their eyes at it. Babe, leave the psychology to the psychologists. This is not how science works, let alone how women work. It's called being polite with acquaintances versus being real with your life partner. That is another take on it. But I have to say, if somebody else made a joke and I didn't find it funny, I wouldn't be laughing. This is so not me. I'd be like, good one. They'd know that it's a bad joke. I'm not laughing if it's a bad joke. Unless it's like the Pugly Christmas sweater of jokes that it's so bad, it's good. Then I'll laugh at whoever says it. Holy I'm not sure if they've realised yet, but he and his friend are married to the same woman. Detective right there doing the good work. Mentioned a cervix to my 26-year-old boyfriend and he looked confused. I asked him did he not know what that was, and he looked at me in the eye so confidently and said, yeah, Jesus was nailed to one. No! Oh, sad. Oh, sad. See? I'm laughing. It's funny. My husband could have told me that. I'd laugh so much. I also would have cried a little bit because this is why we need sex education in schools. Imagine the body that cervix would have to come out of to be an appropriate size to fit the context of that story. That's definitely not how women work. Hey there, we matched. Ooh, a romance. Also, I very much am a strong, confident, assertive man and I'm a bit controlling. Just being upfront, is that a problem? Oh, I wish we didn't match. We sure did, they said. It could be. I like assertive. I appreciate direct. I absolutely won't be controlled. Oh, it's a nicer response than I would have given, but sure. Think of it as a father figure. Bit weird. Protective, making you better, watching over you. Father, army man, doctor, dream catcher. Checking in, asking permission to go out. Choosing your outfits. Ew. Why? You know what? I used to be really bad at interviewing. My old boss told me so. She was like, Shaaba, you sucked. You got this job, but you sucked. Please go to a different interview. And in that interview, do everything opposite to what you did in your interview with me. I want you to just trial something out with no pressure, and maybe that will stop you from being nervous, and in the future, you'll do better at interviews. And I was like, slightly hurt, but cool. All right, I'll go do that. That's exactly what's happened to this man. He's just like, you know what? I'm not picking up any chicks around here. I'm going to try a totally new strategy. And babe, I'm here to tell you that it's not working. This is so weird. Honesty is always a good thing. Trying to pose yourself as a father figure in a relationship, whilst Freudian and I guess like having some form of scientifically backed research, is really weird. Haha, best of luck to you, lol, is the kindest response that you'll receive. And I worry for any prospective partner who would actually read this and go, yup, I'll date you. Let this be your lesson that this is not how women work. This is not how people work. We treat them with respect. If you don't like that, don't be going on normal dating apps in 2024 in Western society and think that you're going to find what you're looking for. Enjoy being single. Once again, I'm asking a man to understand that women do not want to boink their fathers. That is all. Your Freud has a lot to answer for. No, Deirdre, I told you. Tonight you're wearing the chicken outfit. Tomorrow you dressed as Asterix. Go get changed. Never in my life did my father choose my outfits. This is also a very good point. Do you know, some of these points are actually not too bad. Making you better. Helping you grow as a person. It's a lovely sentiment. It's what we all desire to have in relationships, right? Watching over you. Isn't it nice to have someone checking in? That's such a kind thing to do. This person's nearly there. I have hope. I'm holding on to the toxic positivity. Contraception, birth control pills specifically, is just diet transgenderism, with plenty of studies confirming it affects mate selection and behaviour. I am so confused. Anybody who's looked into me a little bit will understand that I'm a fierce trans ally. I've seen a lot of trans issue discussions and I've never seen contraception and transgenderism being used in this way before. What is diet transgenderism. I am so intrigued to know what transgenderism 0 looks like in this person's head. If contraception is diet, what would 0 be? Transgenderism, caffeine-free. Transgenderism, light. Transgenderism aside. And put my mama Shaaba hat on, transgenderism isn't a word, babe. We say transgender issues, but not transgenderism. It's just grammatically correct for an adjective. We don't have brownism, we don't have womanism, we don't have menism, we don't have blondism. But you are right that contraception and birth control pills will affect things like behaviour. Of course it will. Does contraception affect mate selection? I can imagine seeing as a hormonal adjustment that it potentially could. There is emerging evidence that the use of the pill, this is from Science Direct, this is a quick Google search. Remember to check that your sources are valid. Do not rely on quick phrases on the internet. Trends in Ecology and Evolution says there's emerging evidence that the use of the pill by women can disrupt the variation in mate preferences across the menstrual cycle, their attractiveness to men, and their ability to compete with normally cycling women for access to mates. Interesting. Makes total sense. It's a hormonal imbalance. It has nothing to do with transgenderism, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just like, guess what? Taking paracetamol affects behaviour. It makes me significantly less grumpy to have my pain receptors blocked. You know what? I'm sure it'll affect my mate selection too. I'll be less likely to try to compete for the attention of idiots when I'm feeling my best self. Does that make it a bad thing? No. It's like every day they're competing to say the dumbest thing that has ever been said. Welcome to X. I guess he has no idea what's in a birth control pill. I'm celibate, but I have to take it anyway because my body makes too many male hormones, which causes real awful health problems. Fun fact, birth control pills are used for all sorts of hormone balancing solutions. It can be used by anybody going through menopause, because your hormones are all wibbly wobbly. Anybody with PCOS, because your hormones are all wibbly wobbly. Endometriosis, just period regulation generally. It can even be prescribed when you have really bad migraines. It's gotten a really bad rap, but that's because it provides women autonomy. So check your sources. I really enjoy it when they shake up the Scrabble piece bag really well and then dump it out and post whatever it spells out like this. Just nonsense. Do you know the age when menopause occurs? 25 plus technically. Officially, it's 35 plus, but that's just woke science to make feminists feel better. Who are you? Who are you? Topless man with boxing gloves? I mean, technically, topless man with boxing gloves is not wrong. It is technically over the age of 25, and it is also technically over the age of 35 by a lot. This is not traditionally how women work. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that there were like incredibly rare cases, like 1 or 2 people in history who have been documented to experience menopause at the age of 25 or 35. But like the typical age range, what is the typical menopause age? 51. 51. Some people experience it in their 40s. A small percentage will experience signs earlier. Some people might not reach it until their 60s. Genetics plays a role. The average age is 51. I wonder what this person was thinking. Do they actually know what menopause is? What could they think that they were talking about? What happens to women typical bodies at the age of 25 or 35? I couldn't tell you. Oh, maybe they were talking about like when egg fertility starts to decrease on a more exponential scale. Like that happens from when you are a fetus inside somebody else's body. And these men are allowed to vote about laws concerning our bodies when they don't know something as basic as when menopause starts. You know, there's not much that I can say. To this point, it makes me so sad. The state of our politics, we're just not going to get into, because otherwise this is going to end up being a Shaaba crime video. This is technically correct. Someone goes, that's the best kind of correct. I mean, sure. Technically, men can have kids at the age of 40. You want to start spreading that to your teenage sons? No, it's just woke science. Am I the drama? Oh, we have an Am I the drama? Episode crossover. I see you. Am I the drama for saying that to my employee? I'm a 32-year-old man and I'm managing a grocery store, and my employees, a 30-year-old woman, went to the toilet 5 times on a 6-hour shift for period, apparently. On the 5th time, I asked her if her period was the only reason. She's been working at my job for 3 years and only goes to the bathroom 3 to 4 times in a day. Why do you know this? Why are you like tracking the toilet behaviors of your employees? Do you know who does this? Crazy cat people. Crazy cat people do this for their cats. You, employer, do not track the toilet habits of your employee. That's not how people should work. What? The only reason which this would be allowed is if it's like an incredibly excessive time, like they're not working because they're spending all of their shift in a toilet. But if they are clearly not abusing the situation, let your employees pee in peace. Don't even get me started on jobs. Don't get me started on bosses. She immediately became defensive. I wonder why. And told me that it was none of my business and that she had problems lately. I asked her to explain. Because it was my business and her colleague's business, because of her, we constantly have to replace her. She was insulted and told me again that it was none of my business. Now, this evening, I told my partner and she's called me an asshole and I'm not so sure. So am I? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. You do not do this to your employees. You have now also instilled a great fear when this person is going through a difficult problem to do with their body. You just unlocked a new pressure where they're going to be like, oh crap, I am taking too long in the bathroom and now I have this extra stress to be dealing with, whilst I'm also trying to deal with all of these things and hormones, and now I need to find a new job because my boss is a weird, creepy butthole. Like, what? It honestly shouldn't matter if she's going once an hour, be it GI distress, her period, maybe pregnancy. Let your adult employee relieve themselves in peace. Someone's gone, yeah, just say, sorry boss, I have the shits. Do you want to come and confirm? They'll usually leave you alone after that. I mean, yes, we can joke about it. I would love nothing more than this employee being like, here you go, sir, and providing like a stool sample before flipping the bird and being like, quit. That would make an incredible movie scene. But my God, what is wrong with some people? What is wrong with some people feeling like you own someone just because they work for you? So weird to me. I am an asshole. Am I an asshole? All right, let's do a couple more. How on earth do girls survive off eating girl dinner regularly? What is girl dinner? All over my TikTok, all I see is girls getting home and tucking into a delicious girl dinner. However, in reality, it's sometimes literally dried pasta and some chocolate. How is that enough to satisfy you? Are you not constantly hungry and tired? And also, constipated? Who eats dried pasta and chocolate only? I just don't understand. I need 3 full meals a day or else I turn into a hangry monster. Babe, I'm not gonna be mean to you, especially because you seem to have posted this on No Stupid Questions, and I love the fact that this forum exists. You do not deserve to have the piss taken out of you. I appreciate that you're coming onto the internet wanting to learn. I just have to let you know that I think you're being trolled, my love. I don't know anyone who has that as dinner. I've not heard of the term girl dinner. And you know, if I did hear the term girl dinner, I'd expect to see like a salad, not dried pasta and chocolate. I think someone's trolling you.
It was in this moment that wholesome Shaaba had not learnt about girl dinners. They are in fact a thing. They should not be.
As we are trying to make this a learning video, fun fact, there is a difference between what men and women should typically intake during meal times. Throughout the day, the calorie allowance for men is higher than it is for women. And that's because of a little something called hormones, testosterone. It doesn't mean that women should have less rights. It does mean that often women can function on significantly less calories. You just know a girl using these smells like heaven. Oh my goodness. This is true. I love how much cocoa butter and coconut there is here. I look at this photo and I can smell it. It makes me so happy. I aspire to be this person. You also know, says someone else, there's a significant chance that she won't be able to get pregnant in a few years' time. What? Smelling like cocoa butter and coconut affect your pregnancy abilities? Where is this coming from? Oh my gosh. I know who this is. This is Halle Berry. This is Halle Berry from the Catwoman video. She is just jaded because there was that mean CEO who was doing bad things when profiting from the beauty industry. Babe, it's not real. It's just a movie. I'm so confused. There must be something. Maybe like one of these brands has had like a thing where there was some connection to the idea of pregnancies. Be right back, gonna tell my kids that they were miracle babies since I'm a Vaseline survivor. Oh no. Well, there you go. Clearly Vaseline ran the news for something. Vaseline survivor. Don't. I wish this was true. I love cocoa butter and I also don't want children. Imagine if Garnier's new marketing strategy was alternative to condom. Moisturize your skin, dry up your ovaries. Of course. Where else would the moisture come from? As a woman, I can affirm this is exactly how women work. All right, let's do one more. Let's make it a good one. At 34, Taylor Swift remains unmarried and childless, a fact that some might argue is irrelevant to her status as a role model. But I suggest it's crucial to consider what kind of example this sets for young girls. A role model, by definition, is someone worthy of imitation. While Swift's musical talent and business acumen are certainly admirable, even laudable, we must ask if her personal life choices are ones we want our sisters and daughters to emulate. This might sound like bell-clutching preaching, but it's a concern rooted in sound reasoning. Role models that don't have kids. Oprah Winfrey. Interesting. Helen Mirren. Dolly Parton. Betty White. Stevie Nicks. I'm kind of sad that this list is all like A-list celebrities and also only women. Jennifer Coolidge. First woman Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard. There we go. I want to know more people. They will absolutely exist who are not just in the entertainment field. Alan Turing. I think Marie Curie did have kids, Ada Lovelace did have kids. There are people in this world that do not have children and who are still incredibly inspirational figures. And the fact that you, person on the internet, is trying to take someone who is incredibly successful and reduce an entire group of people and say that all of their successes mean nothing, because by your definition, success is only truly qualified by the ability to breed. Sure, that's a wonderful way to group women. How very Handmaid's Tale of you. Here is another pearl. Add it to the other ones that you are very clearly clutching. It's a concern rooted in sound reasoning. Get in the bin. Opie is afraid that all women will get rich and famous and won't have sex with them. That is a lot of words to just say that women's accomplishments are worthless outside of marriage and kids. There's the truth. I wonder why they don't post about unmarried and childless men in their 30s. I wonder. You know the articles are all going to be about their wives. I'm not a hardcore Swiftie. I don't mean to upset or offend said Swifties, but I have to say, with her entire world domination that has been occurring these past 2 years with this whole Eras tour, I think everyone by now has heard what impact she's had. Whether it's been through altruism, like the number of people, like the truck drivers who are getting huge bonuses that are allowing them to buy houses. Is that not worthy of role model behaviour? Whether it's the fact that she's donating tens of thousands of pounds for every city that she's going to help food banks. Is that not role model behaviour? The fact that her lyrics talk about things like LGBT plus rights and allyship and feminism, where she literally addresses that if she was a man, she'd be significantly further ahead. Is that not role model behaviour? You're just sour and you're trying to hold your super conservative, backwards minded views. Sorry babe, your mask is slipping. Fix that, would you? And on that note, I think we should end today's video. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to explore on these occasional Thursday videos, and I'll catch you next time. For now, be kind and have a great day. Bye.